We start on planet Olega, where a little girl is distracting a security droid for May to plant some device on its head. Even though the little girl didn't have to do that because the droid's head is on the surface, okay? This device allows her to break into the Jedi Temple to try to assassinate Torben. Again, she does that embarrassing pose thing. It was cringy. But it turns out Torben is in some sort of meditation sleep force bubble, making it impossible for May to kill him, so she runs away. On the Jedi ship heading towards Coruscant, Osha and Jeki have a discussion while Yord and Sol discuss whether to have like Osha restrained. Honestly, Yord is right. Osha should be restrained. You don't really know if she planned that, like what has happened to with her sister. But Sol is against the idea, because of course he is. Venestra then informs Sol that there was an intruder at Master Torben's place, so it couldn't have been Osha. I mean, this still shouldn't clear her, but what do I know? We then see May go into a shop to get some poison. How she's gonna get Torben to drink the poison is beyond me, but we'll see. Sol, Jeki, Yord, and Osha arrive to Master Torben's temple at the same time May breaks in again to kill him. Once again, May voices that Torben needs to pay for his crimes. He wakes up from his slumber and informs her that he's been waiting for her. But okay, but she was there earlier. Why didn't he wake then? You know, like, don't think about it. As they make their way into Torben's quarters, Osha takes a shortcut directly getting ahead of the rest of the group. She arrives a minute before they do, only to find Torben's already been poisoned. So yeah, if Sol and the rest were trying to hurry to get to Torben, why didn't they just take the direct route to him?
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense how she could figure out that there was some shortcut directly into him, but they couldn't get to him before? I don't know. It's stupid, clunky, contrived. It just doesn't make sense. It's just a contrived way to get Osha there before them, only to have some suspicion, but is immediately cleared because Yord was following her. I don't think the writers knew the point of that was. It doesn't make sense. The poison then leads the Jedi to want to question the apothecary across the street, but Obi-Fat notices that the regular guy isn't there. They then realize that he might be in on it, and they form a plan to get a confession from him. Yord comes up with a more reasonable, simple plan, and yet Jackie comes up with a more complicated, poorly thought out plan. So of course, they go for Jackie's plan. Osha pretends to be May, comes into the shop, and Chimere admits to giving the poison to May. Chimere recognizes that she isn't May after an awkward exchange. This whole scene was just bizarre, stupid, made zero sense. But the Jedi have a recording of admissions, so they use it to help capture May, and they'll let him off with a warning.
What, are you retarded?
This is insane. You have the guy who's pretending to be the owner of the establishment, with no knowledge of what he did with the original owner, a guy who helped May with the murder of a Jedi Master, and they want to let him go with a warning?
That doesn't make sense.
This is insanely incompetent and stupid. This guy is an accomplice to murder, and they want to let him go. You know, this show is really making out the Jedi to be all kinds of unintelligent, huh? After some light convincing, Chimere agrees to help capture May when she comes back. At the time, we also learn that Osha is angry with May for what she did. It might be why she left the Jedi Order. It's not clear to us. We don't know. May and Sol have a fight, and it's somewhat decent. But you know, May's whole intention is to kill the Jedi without a weapon. Why does she keep using knives and going after their lightsaber mid-fight? I guess it's just something not to think about. In this same scene, you can see Yord using binoculars to watch the fight, and it's comedic. I mean, just look down, my dude. They're literally one floor right beneath you, clown ass. Anyways, During the fight, Soul proves to be a far superior fighter, which makes sense. Soul provides information that Osha is alive to Mei, which turns her a bit, like, stunned. Yor jumps down to confirm what Soul is saying and to apprehend her, but she uses pocket sand to escape.
Pocket sand! Yeah.
I mean, Soul could have used the force to grab her, but never mind. During Mei's escape, Osha catches up to her and uses a stun gun, but misses by a clear mile. This scene could be interpreted as Osha letting Mei go, but we will see, won't we? So it is now confirmed that Mei is after the 4 Jedi that were in Brendok, so they should hurry to go look for Kel Naka, right? Chimere is being watched by the Jedi right across the street when Mei arrives to subdue him. He has info on Kel Naka's whereabouts and they leave immediately to hunt him down. Obi-Fat is distraught he's lost sight of Chimere even though he should have been arrested to begin with, but let's not think about it, I guess. We finally get a shot of Kel Naka being a badass, using the Force to take a weapon from an intruder and snapping it in half. I honestly can't wait to see this Wookiee Jedi in action. It's one of the few things I look forward to. Anyways, episodes end and
What the hell is even that?
holy Christ, that was horrid as well. I can see why they released episodes 1 and 2 at the same time. There isn't much of substance there. Episode 3, we start off on planet Brendok 16 years in the past. We see a little girl who we assume is Osha play with a horribly rendered CGI butterfly, who is then tortured by Mei but stopped by Osha. So already we can see Mei was a sociopath when she was a child. They then recite some poem they had recited in episode 1, showing that there is some bond there. They are then brought back home by a female Sabrak, but behind them we can see Soul spying. As they make it home, we then get introduced to Mother Anastasia, who allows the children to have some spice creams that they want. Isn't spice a drug in Star Wars? Anastasia is concerned for Jedi scouts around the area, but Mother Coral assures her there were none to see. We then learn they are on this place and move from planet to planet to hide from being persecuted and hunted. From who or what, we are not explicitly told nor shown really, but one can ascertain that it might be the Jedi from the very vague info we get. But we will see. Mother Anastasia then teaches the girls about the thread, which to them is another form of the Force. I would rather think this is another introduction to a magic system very much like the Night Sisters magic. She then teaches the girls that this magic is not to be used as a weapon. She then proceeds to use it as a weapon. In the background, you see the girls fighting, so then Anastasia uses the thread to shove them to the ground. Twice in these few seconds, she uses it as a weapon, but you know, not a weapon. Osha and Mei are being taught to defend against a forced push, but we clearly see that Osha is not too comfortable using it as much as Mei. As the twins prepare for a ceremony, they bicker about Osha not wanting to do it and how she wants to have her own identity apart from Mei, basically her own path, which is in itself understandable. Now, I don't like to rag on kid actors, right? But these two girls are not very good. Their line delivery is very bland and awkward. They don't emote very well, nor have any sort of chemistry, you know, even though they're twins in real life. I mean, it lines up with their adult versions, to be honest, so there's that. We then proceed to have one of the most awkward and funniest scenes in media history. I mean, the chanting, the hyena yelps in the background, the singing. Honestly, this cringe was so palpable. I had to pause watching because I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I was seeing and hearing.
Oh, that's a big boy, isn't he?
I mean, it's been stressed online so much already. I have to elaborate more how insanely lame and cringe this whole thing was. As the space lesbians witch cult chant and sing, you can see Osha is somewhat uncomfortable, but I guess her moms are just gonna brush that off and continue to indoctrinate her. We then get a bunch of exposition lines by Anastasia about their cult and their history. I mean, thanks for letting the audience know, but wouldn't the witches already know all of this? After Anastasia flumps May with space witch magic, she then turns to Osha. As Osha hesitates to accept the terms and conditions, the Jedi interrupt the cult meeting. As they come in, we get a view of them all, including Torben. My god, if you compare this Torben to future Torben, he aged like the finest blue milk. The witches try to find a way to hide the twins from the Jedi, even going as far as lying to them about their being children there. But the Wookiee spots Osha and they ask them to come forward. We find out that they were conceived without a father, as a nod to Shmi Skywalker, I guess. Now, I'm not gonna take this line to mean that they were conceived just like Anakin. I'm going to assume that they were made in a lab or some shit. When May approaches them, Sol gives himself and the Jedi away by announcing that she has a spiral tattoo on her forehead and she didn't before. This was incredibly dumb. You know, I like the actor who plays Sol. He's a pretty good actor so far, but his character is really coming off as a complete moron. Then Sol gives Osha a lightsaber. She declares that she would like to leave the Jedi, for which Anastasia then tortures the youngest of the Jedi out of anger. Which, you know, she's evil, right? Indara then claims the Jedi have a right to test the children, but with her permission. So then Anastasia has the right to say no if they need her permission, right? I mean, you'd think they'd say fuck no after all that. The witches then have a discussion about whether they should let the Jedi test the girls, which then leads Korra to saying something insanely stupid.
We make our move tonight, while the moons are high.
Mother Coral, I urge you to remain calm.
One drop of Jedi blood, and the Republic would destroy us.
There are only 4 Jedi. Who would miss them?
Yes, Coral, the Republic and the Jedi will absolutely notice 4 missing Jedi. Which then leads to an exchange between Coral and Anastasia about how Coral brought them into this world and how Anastasia created them. Again, I would rather believe she means created in a lab or weird magic rather than by using the Force. If it was the Force, in a way it makes Anakin not as special because the whole Immaculate Conception thing, you know. But also the girls look nothing like Coral. I mean, they're human, not Zabrak. They do agree to let the girls test, but an old man suggests that the girls lie in order to fail the test. Anastasia pushes the girls to lie on their test, but Osha doesn't want to. She believes the Jedi to be good, while May believes them to be bad. How though? How would either of them know whether they're good or bad? They seem to know virtually nothing about them. It just seems like Osha wants to escape this cult and would use the Jedi as an excuse. I mean, who can blame her? They are brought to the Jedi for testing, and then a thought occurred to me. Wouldn't these girls be too old to test anyway? I mean, Anakin was too old at the age of 10. These girls are 8. Wouldn't the Jedi want way younger, like, kids from what we know of them anyway?
He will not be trained.
No.
He is too old.
May fails her test. Osha almost fails, but gives herself away. The Jedi now know that they were lying on purpose. Sol informs her of how he became a Jedi when he was a child, and that there are many children around the galaxy who became Jedi. This convinces her to tell the truth and pushes her further into wanting to become a Jedi. The lesbian space witches are devastated. Osha wants to leave to become a Jedi and have her own life, with the only person being Anastasia who supports her decision, in a way. Which then leads me to ask, who did Anastasia refer to as the one persecuting her cult? If it were the Jedi, why is she allowing them to test them and take Osha? I don't think we'll get clear answers. It just doesn't seem like it. As Osha prepares to leave, May delivers a sociopathic line. So May proceeds to lock Osha in her room and set the stone and metal on fire. I mean, clearly, May is insane. As Osha escapes and travels through the tunnels, you can hear the explosions and screaming in the background. I mean, I want to know what kind of fire spreads through stone and metal like this. It clearly isn't normal. Osha runs into May on a bridge, which then leads May to fall to her death. But Soul gets there in time to catch Osha. As Soul and Osha escape this place, you see a bunch of space lesbian witches dead on the floor, and I think we're led to believe something else happened by the way Soul acts. We then see May survived, which is a surprise to no one watching already. Now, I have to say, episode 3 was absolutely awful.
Oh, okay.
The worst of the bunch, so far. The whole thread thing with the space lesbian witch cult has got to be the weirdest thing we've been introduced. But we have seen different groups use magic in their own cultural way, so it doesn't really bother me as much as the characters and their motivations. There definitely seems to be more to the story than we are led to believe with this cult and their issues with the Jedi. I'm guessing there will be another flashback episode. I will continue to review the rest of the episodes, but I'll do them in bunches. I don't have time to do them individually at the moment. With all that being said, like, comment, subscribe if you so choose to. Thanks for watching.